recording. As a reminder, this is recorded. Video is optional. I do ask that you remain on mute unless you're called upon, mainly because, well, background noise. I also want to honor those that speak up and volunteer so that way they're heard fully, 100%. But thank you guys for being here. I was really excited for this event. We also have several more up and coming. So any of those topics in the Luma, I'll put that actually in the chat, as we have a few people already here. Again, video is optional. You don't have to have video, but thank you guys for being on mute. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. We're just going to kind of do a warm icebreaker, and it'll be by volunteer only. I'm not going to call on you. Last time I called on everybody and everybody participated and it was a lot of fun. I just want to honor those that just want to observe, because we have a lot of new faces today. But so it'll be a two-part question is the icebreaker. And just go ahead and raise your hand or take turns by taking yourself off a mic. But I'll go first. So it's a two-part question. So where are you from? You can name the city, the state, or the country if that's what you're comfortable with, or all three. Really just city and state, honestly, suffices. And then, so the second part of the question is, if your old habits could talk, what excuse would they give you for sticking around so long? Okay, so it's a two-part question. Where you live in the world, because I know a lot of people that attend this are all over the United States, and I always find it to be fun. I'm always curious to where everybody's from and to be able to connect if possible, especially if you come in my area. I would love to know and meet you. So I'll go ahead and lead it. Again, it's where you're from, city and state, what you're comfortable with, and what would your old habit say if it could talk? What would be its excuse? Okay, so it could be a current old habit or an old habit that you've already broken and replaced. So for me, I live in Spokane, Washington. It's actually a small town outside of Spokane. Technically it's Deer Park. I call it Suncrest, but it's just a small itty bitty space on a mountainside outside of Spokane, Washington. Now, if an old habit of mine could talk, the excuse it would give is, you need me. I am how you decompress. I am how you slow down every day because I go, 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 go. So in order to slow down, you need me at the end of the day to slow down. So go ahead and raise your hand, anyone that wants to go next, or go ahead and take yourself off a mic. Go ahead, and Jenny.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I live in Norfolk, Virginia. And my habit is I'm just too tired, or it's just too hard. My main reason for not getting myself moving and motivated.
So if your old habit could talk, give an excuse, it would say, I'm too tired.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Welcome. Good to see you here. Third time's a charm. You're right.
Exactly. I've only been sitting here since probably 12:15.
I know.
To make sure I got it all squared away.
You were determined. I love it. I love it. All right. Anyone else want to give us a warm welcome? Tell us where you're from and what excuse would your bad habit or old habit provide? Robert.
Hi, my name's Robert. I'm from Belfair, Washington. My old habits would say that they miss me. I've been through a lot and I've overcome quite a few things, and I'm just want to make sure that the old habits stay old. Thank you for doing this for me. Appreciate this.
Oh, you're welcome, Robert. Good to see you.
Yeah.
And we're in the same state, so thank you. That's really cool. I love what you said though about keeping an old habit old. And it's like an old friend, right? You miss me. You'll miss me if you get rid of me entirely. So, and I have a belief about all things that we create throughout our lives, these old beliefs, these old patterns, these old things, right? It's almost like a little bit of a personality. It's a voice in our head. Will it go away completely? Maybe, likely not. It's a matter of being able to hear it, to acknowledge it and go, hey, old friend, I hear you. Thank you. Today I'm going to choose different. So I love that. That's great. That's beautiful. Anyone else want to volunteer? I see faces like, no, 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 it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to. Okay. So, so the next part I wanted to tap into is, does anyone know, just, and this could be, this isn't, you know, stuck in stone. There's not one reason. There's not one right answer. But does anyone know from curiosity or from their own experience, from what they've seen with other people and themselves, why resolutions fail? What would be one or two reasons from your own thoughts, opinions, views, perspectives, judgments, etc.?
Because we put too much pressure on ourselves with resolutions, and sometimes setting unrealistic goals when we're doing them too. Like, I don't set resolutions at all. I set what I want to change. Goal.
And I hear singular.
Felt that.
I hear singular, so it's not a whole bunch of things.
I pick one. I pick one thing that I'm going to focus on, because when I start focusing on too many things, then I only accomplish a little bit, but not enough to keep it continued.
Yeah. Yeah. And I heard that you don't do New Year's resolutions. So it's maybe a monthly goal, a weekly goal, or just whenever.
Yeah. So I just set small goals for myself. Like, you know, like the one that I've struggled with the most is just stepping out of my comfort zone. And I've made small progress with that, but I'm not where I want to be with it. Because ultimately I still kind of, certain things I still am very nervous about, and like I will then in my head make up things of why I shouldn't do it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I observe how you're describing it, right? Language is powerful. Language is really, honestly, the blueprint to what you do or don't do. So what is one thing, because this is how I heard it, is there's a struggle going outside of my comfort zone, nervous, I get in my head. So what is one thing that you're thinking about that would be getting outside of your comfort zone? What would that be? What's one thing?
So like just like I've thought about sharing my experience and stuff, like in video format, you know, of things that I've been through that could be helpful to other people. And then what I tell myself is that my voice is stupid.
Ooh.
That is what I do. I'm like, oh, I don't like the way my voice sounds, because I start, even though I'm mostly good about not comparing myself to other people, I start comparing myself to other people that have these very nice voices and just sound really good. And so I'll listen to it and I'll be like, oh, I just sound dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not what I'm saying, you know, it's how I sound. And that's what I get in my head. Oh, well, yeah. So that's the thing that ultimately like keeps me from doing that, is I keep fixating on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of the fact that the message is actually what's important, not how you sound or look or but I get hyper fixated on how I sound.
Yeah. And again, looking at your language, I hear my voice is stupid. I don't like the way it sounds. I struggle. It's nervous. I compare myself to others. I sound dumb. I get up in my head. I fixate on it. I worry about what I look like. So I hear that you're wanting, that you really want to celebrate what you've overcome, how far you've come, what you've done to get where you are. And again, we're all on a journey. So that's what I hear, is that you want to share your experience. You want to inspire other people, maybe. It's my words, not yours. And you even said, I want it to help others. So that's how you actually worded it. Where are you wanting to do this video? What is the medium that you're wanting to choose?
I mean, initially it was TikTok, but that's of course going away, because I have a decent following on there. And when I got into that I was nervous about doing all of that too, but I never quite got to the point where I was able to like just talk on the video. It was just all like lip syncing things, funny stuff, comment, just being funny, not my real voice.
Oh, so it's like lip syncing.
Yeah, and then like promoting like stuff about, abuse awareness and things like that, and mental health awareness. I'm a huge supporter of all of that. So promoting stuff like that, but I never like used my own voice ever. It was all just like lip syncing, even if it's like talking, I consider that lip syncing, if it's not your voice. But so I don't know from here, maybe Instagram and Facebook, but if I did it Facebook, I would probably do a different page, because there's things that have happened that I don't want my personal friends to know about.
What's that about?
Just like, I just don't, I was in a almost 20-year relationship that was very mentally and emotionally abusive. So it's a lot about that, and the signs to look for, because nobody warned me about that, and through, once I left that finally and started healing and things, then I started realizing there were some deeper seated issues that actually led me to getting in a relationship like that.
Yeah.
To choosing something like that, because I thought it was normal.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was normal. So, and not that I blame any, I don't blame my parents or anything. They did the best they could. And also, they are products from how they were raised as well. But ultimately, like, they're my choices. It's my choice to get into the relationship, it's my choice to stay in the relationship. A lot of denial in that, so I just really want to help people that are in that situation walk away from it, to get the courage to know that they can be okay, that yes, it's hard, but you can heal through it. You're going to have good days, bad days, all that, and maybe prevent somebody who hasn't experienced that yet from falling into that.
Yeah.
Able to see the signs and walk away.
Right. So what's interesting is the language that you use in that space, when you really relax, when you really get into what lights your heart on fire, which sounds like advocation, the words that you use are beautiful, that could maybe potentially be the advice that you need, if that makes sense. So let me read back what you said. So just like, jumping outside of your comfort zone, what was said is, the struggle, my voice sounds stupid and nervous and compare myself to others, that whole thing, right? Left brain, fear-based. Oh my gosh. Okay. So when we live in the land of our left brain and in the side of our brain that's fear, right? What ends up usually happening is it activates that side of our brain, and then we take no action because it's scary. There's a saber-toothed tiger, I could die, right? But when you're describing from your heart and your soul what you're wanting to advocate for, what you're wanting to offer a lifeline to people that could be in relationships currently that they don't know how to get out of, or even helping people prevent themselves from getting into relationships that could be toxic or terrible or whatever. When you speak of that, the language that you use is, it's my choice, right? So if we could add to that, it's my choice to be the voice to help people, right? Then the next word you used was having courage, right? So courage to step out of the comfort zone. The next thing you said was, you'll be okay, right? Or I'll be okay, if you want to speak, in first person. And then the next thing you said is, there'll be good days, right? There'll be good days, but there'll be bad days. But the way you said it was very light, very freeing, very, it is what it is. So how can we take those words and use it as your own advice to yourself to get outside of your comfort zone? And that could be on the topic of this topic or replacing an old habit. How can you use that language that you created to light your heart on fire and pull you towards doing more of what you want to do in your life?
Is just really just having the courage to do it and stop letting fear control me, because fear
I'm gonna
is
stop you. Notice language, right? It's having the courage and not letting the fear. So when we speak in words, our brain is like a 1980s computer, right? Even in the 80s, the only people that had computers were really rich, and they were archaic and they were old. So our brains are very simple. We have to speak to our brain, because our brain is really the computer that drives us into action or keeps us stuck. Okay. We have to speak and have language and have belief behind the language that we really truly believe in. It's about belief. It's really about articulating and describing what we want more of in our life. Leaving what we don't want anymore out of our language, out of our thoughts. Okay. So one of the metaphors that I use a lot is Tiger Woods. Back when he was real famous and doing amazing in golf, he was out on the green, he was doing really well, and one of the news people or whatever interviewed him, and he goes, I noticed something in you, Tiger Woods. I noticed when you're out before we started, you were jovial, you were happy, you were talking to people, you were just having a good old time, you were very loose, you were very interactive, telling jokes and whatever. But when you got out on the green, like something changed in your face, something changed in your body language, your energy changed, your aura, everything about you changed. What were you thinking when you went out on the green? He goes, oh, that's easy. Ball in the hole, 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 ball in the hole. It's mental fitness exercises. Okay, so all athletes do mental fitness exercises. They train their brain, they train their thoughts to go towards what they want more of. Pilots do it, okay? Skiers do it, right? They train their thoughts to look where you want your skis to go. Because if you go, don't look at the trees, your eyes go to the trees because your brain doesn't understand the word don't. It says trees. Oh, there, skis go towards the trees. So it's learning to form thoughts and words and statements of what you want more of in your life. Okay. Same situation. Tiger Woods, again, talking to that announcer, he goes, well, what are you thinking when your opponent goes before you and he's ahead of you? He's got more points. I don't know golf. I don't remember exactly the wordage, but He goes, what happened? What are you thinking when your opponent's up there? He goes, the same thing, ball in the hole, ball in the hole, ball in the hole, ball in the hole, ball in the hole. I want my brain to just think of that one thing. And he wins with that. It's all about mental fitness. It's skill. It's being in the zone. It's really learning how to train your brain to work for you rather than against you. So it's really about learning the language that says, I'm courageous. I will be okay. There are going to be good days. There are going to be bad days. I'm going to learn from the bad days. I'm going to recover. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to change. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to keep going, because what is in my heart is getting this message out to people, or whatever, in your own words. So where does the feeling courage come from?
I mean, I guess it's probably within, you know, I mean, fears within, like it's all within ourselves. And it's what we then project out into the world.
Okay, so what does within mean?
It's like the way we think. Yeah, it's the way our mind works, the way we think, that dictates how we feel about different things. I mean, there are some outside things that, you know, that are learned, that can train us in certain ways, but then once we realize that and we know that that's not the way we want our world to be, we have to go within and do kind of the work to retrain our brains to have a different thought process.
So how do you go within and retrain and unlearn that old conditioning, that old thought process? So what do you do to do that?
Well, for me personally, I used to not be a very positive person. Now I'm like a very positive person most of the time. Is so I realized I was surrounding myself with a lot of negativity. I was then, you know, therefore you're just keep attracting that. And I was like, God, I don't want to be this way. And I started with one simple thing, which was finding one positive, even in a negative situation. And that's how I started retraining my brain to be more positive. And then I started purposely looking up positive quotes and watching positive videos, things that made me feel empowered. And I just slowly started retraining my brain that way.
So is it quotes, videos, your environment that injects feelings of courage and positivity into you?
Yes, I could probably do the same thing with that and get myself to be more courageous.
Well, so I want to, so here's the thing. I used to say happiness is an inside job. If you said that to me, I would go, you're right. Yes, 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 yes. My behaviors did not show I believed that.
Right.
They didn't. I was chasing more fame, more fashion, more money, more trips, more accolades, more words of affirmation. I was chasing after a bigger house, more cars, more things, more external. I was chasing. My behaviors were not in alignment with that. I believed it at a logical level up here. But my actions, my beliefs were not there.
What you believe, or it does no good.
I came to a point where I was like, well, I have all those things, so I'll make my body look perfect and then I'll be happy. Guess what? 18 months later, I won my first bodybuilding competition and I felt joy for 2 days. And then I actually felt worse than I did before that 18-month journey. I dove down deep, dark. So courage is not in quotes. Courage is not in books. Courage is not in affirmations. Courage is not in external things. It's not in your environment. I will agree with you. If you surround yourself with people that are negative, what ends up happening is it normalizes that. It normalizes that type of language. Well, what is language? Language is just a fraction of what's going on in your brain. Then what we feel, what we think. So if you're having disempowering thoughts like, oh, my voice sounds stupid, I'm gonna look dumb, people are gonna make fun of me, people are gonna point fingers at me, people are going to blah, blah. Those are not your people, number one. And it's simple, block them. Simple. Really, a good thing to do, and I'm not telling anyone to do this, is to go get roasted on Reddit. You'll see really quickly that it's people are all gonna pick out the things about you and say horrible things that is all about them. You even said that we project outwards what's inside.
Yeah. Even on TikTok, like I never engaged with people who made negative comments, and there are people that do that. You know, you see people on there all the time. They do reply videos to all these negative. You're just drawing attention to those people. I just delete and block.
Yeah.
Delete and block every time. I never engaged with those people ever.
And it's a choice, like you said, it's my choice to delete and block them. I also find that sometimes negative news is better than positive news in the sphere of social media. I do believe that social media has created and this is my belief, again, I'm stating it, this is my belief. I believe social media over the last decade or whatever it's been around has created a lot of division in our world, because it's either thumbs up or thumbs down, and people are blasting their judgments and their opinions out on people, and it's normalized. Again, the point that you made earlier, I remove people from my environment that normalize negativity 100%. I will say too, back before I started my journey, I used to come home and I thought it was a competition of who had the worst day. And I normalized that, right? Oh no, my day was worse than yours because this is why. That was the game we played, and how we fell into that, I don't know. We didn't know we were doing it. And there was just a shift one day. I was like, let's change this. What was something you learned today? What did you fail at but are glad that you tried it today? We had all kinds of fun questions that pivoted how we talked at family dinner. So it's not about getting rid of everybody in our lives. Sometimes you have to, but it's about, are you going to come along with me? And maybe it's influencing people and showing them a new way. So sometimes that's positive. I do want to make sure that if anybody else wants to speak, that we get to them. But I want, before we move on, I really want to get from you. I'm going to ask you this question again. Where does courage come from? How can you turn up the volume on courage internally or within, as your words were?
You just really have to retrain your brain on that and tell yourself all the things you can, instead of what if I fail? What if I succeed? Changing just those slight little things and just keep practicing that until it becomes a permanent habit.
What is the first sign that you're having a negative thought?
For me, it's just like, I can feel the difference in my energy. I feel it.
Yes.
I feel it rise or fall. Like if I like, I found that something that really, really, really makes me happy is making other people feel good. Giving, like, complimenting people and
Hold on. If we attach a good feeling from something external, we're a puppet and they're our master. So notice in your language, words of affirmation, make me happy. And the reason why I point that out is it's a slippery slope. If we start to believe that, again, the fancy cars, the trips, the money,
those things help. They help. They're not there. I just know that they do make me feel better when I'm down to go back to those affirmations and things and then say, you know what? Yes, that is me, or you know what? I can do this. They're just really, I use them as a tool as a reminder. And like a lot of things that you post in the positivity group, like I'll read it and I'll be like, well, I knew that. I knew that.
Logically.
Yeah. And but we did have the conversation about knowing and actually feeling, having different feelings from what you know. You can logically know as many things in the world. You could logically know everything and still feel very differently. You have to align them.
Yes, belief. So what is the difference between someone that needs, requires, has to have words of affirmation or they have a bad day versus someone that can speak compassionately and empathetic to themselves and accesses that words of affirmation internally, right? Maybe it's looking in the mirror and going, you know, you gorgeous, amazing, incredible person, look at you go, look at the skills and knowledge and information that you have within you, and how can you get that out into the world, right? So what is the difference between the two people that require words of affirmation? Like it's their source of energy from outside versus someone that gets it and has ownership and takes responsibility of it on the inside. What's the difference between those two people?
Well, I would say that the person that requires that outward acknowledgement would, you know, anything could make them have a bad day, or they could be harsh on themselves, judgmental, you know, whereas, and that used to be me. That used to be me.
We're recovering.
And now something will happen in my day and I'm like, and I'll just take a deep breath and I'll be like, you know what? It was just a moment. I don't need to get worked up over it. It's going to pass. And the rest of my day is going to be great.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So there we
go. It doesn't, I would say 95% of the time, it does not matter what is going on in my life. I could have 3 or 4 bad things happen in a day, and I just like, I might right in that moment get like, oh my God, like, and get a little worked up. And then I'm like, nope, deep breath, deep breath.
Yeah.
This is not dictate my day. This is just a moment. It's going to pass and my day is going to be amazing.
So you're right there. When I asked you, what is the sign that you're right, you feel it. And it's having that awareness when you start to feel like, even if you're just neutral, right? You know, happy, elated, excited up here, fear, sad, depressed down here. If you're neutral and you start to feel a dip, you know, you feel it, you acknowledge it and go, whoa, hello, I'm safe, I'm okay. Give yourself a pick-me-up statement, whatever feels good in that moment, not memorization. I'm not about affirmations and chants. I know you've used affirmations and that's fine. The thing about affirmations are things that we say over and over again, our brain gets really smart and it won't listen to it anymore, right? Because it loves patterns, it loves repetition.
Yeah.
So it's really about, how do I want to feel right now? I want to feel courageous. I want to feel powerful. I want to inspire. I want to get the word out. I want to touch someone today and help them in a way that they needed, right? I feel drawn. I feel the pull to support and help people in X, Y, and Z. So this is great. I know it's kind of a little off from a New Year's resolution, but it really isn't, right? It's about you wanting to take that courageous step forward deeply. And something else that you said earlier that could be advice, and maybe this is something to go back and listen to. some advice to yourself is just talk, say funny things, promote, support people. These are all language that you use. It is very strong language that really resonated with me, and it really stood out. So it's learning to develop a repertoire of language that pulls you towards doing it anyways, right? Standing tall, standing strong, building your self-confidence. And how you build self-confidence is showing up, doing it, getting proof and evidence that you are confident, you're self-assured, you're going to keep going forward. There's going to be haters. You can block them, you can delete them, or let them go, because truly that's what gives you greater visibility in the social media world. Again, I'm not a big fan of social media, even though I use it. The thing is you can use those haters as a way to boost your visibility. Just saying.
And I think there's a huge difference between somebody trying to give you constructive criticism and somebody who is just being mean and nasty.
Yeah. 100%.
There's a difference. And it's the people that are being mean and nasty that I just remove. People who are saying, yeah, I didn't really care for this. Okay, yeah. That's fine. You know, it's not your thing. That's fine.
That's not your people. That's not your tribe. And that's good that they call that out there, because there's something else out there for them. That's their sign to move on. That's their sign to find someone else. That's their sign that, you know, you're on a different emotional intelligence level or on a different topic. So to me, it's, you know, it's great. I'd rather know now than later. So
yes, it's like walking around with your fly down all day and nobody says anything, you know. I'd rather somebody tell me.
It was probably about 3 months ago. I was in the self-checkout line at the grocery store, and the lady that kind of oversees that area in the small town that I'm near, she comes over to me and whispers in my ear. She goes, I don't know if you're aware or not, but your leggings are on inside out and your tag is just waving in the wind back there. And I was like, I thought for a second, rip it off, right? And then I thought, and it's right in the butt crack area, you know, and I was like, if I rip that off and it rips a hole, this whole thing can get much worse. So I let it just go. And I'm like, and she goes, do you have anywhere else to go? And I go, no, I'm going right home. But you know, it was a great experience in the fact that, again, I could take meaning out of that. I could get mad at her. I think there's a segment of the population that would have gotten mad at her for saying something. I think there's a segment of the population that would be very embarrassed and melt into a puddle and stop checking out and run, right? So again, it's really taking ownership of your feelings, knowing where your feelings come from, and dictating that in all the things that you experience throughout the day, right? I took ownership and responsibility of how I wanted to feel in that moment. And I wanted to feel like you, courageous, and be like, you know, probably 5 or 10 people saw this, but they're not going to remember me a day or two later. They're not going to remember this. I'm going to remember this probably for the rest of my life. And I can make fun of it in a playful, empathetic, compassionate way. But I guarantee you, when I was 14 years old, if that would have happened, I probably would have been mortified. But again, it's just great examples of taking ownership of how we want to feel, learning to listen to the voices in our head, what they're saying, and that feeling, right? If you start to have a negative feeling, a twinge of embarrassment in that situation, go, oh, that I could feel that, and I could go deeper into that feeling, and what is that going to do for me, right? It's probably going to end up ruining my day, and I don't want to feel that way. So I'm just going to brush it off, not rip the tag off, and continue checking out. So all right, I want to check in with Jenny and Travis, see if either one of you have thoughts on the New Year's resolutions, or what I love about it's Sarah, right? Yeah, Sarah. I was like, I didn't want to say your name wrong. Sarah had stated about the New Year's resolutions. She had said, I wrote it on the other page. You said about New Year's resolutions, the clarity part, if I remember right. Oh, pressure and unrealistic goals, doing one thing. I want to just talk about that really quickly. And while the two of you contemplate, if you want to throw in your answers, why people don't follow through with their New Year's resolutions. It's actually, I think the 14th or the 15th, usually the second week of the month is where New Year's resolutions fall off. But yes, the pressure, external pressure, again, people around you pressuring you to join their New Year's resolutions, or just because it's talked about so much in our funny little brains, the human brains that we have, like, oh, I need to do that too. Oh, I should jump on this bandwagon. This is a new year, new me, new chapter. So we can culturally, we could feel pressure if we believe that feelings come from external people, words, statements, right? Again, a teddy bear can't inject feelings of love, safety, and security, nor can everyone saying, oh, I'm doing 75 hard, join me, you should do it with me. That's all pressure that if you believe comes from external inward. Again, you're being the puppet and everything outside of you is your master. Not a good way to live. Unrealistic goals. Again, creating goals when things are slow. And that's one of the things that I believe that people do is, after the holidays, around the holidays, things kind of come to a grinding halt for most people. Some people become busier, other people aren't. But usually goals are set at the beginning of the year because things are a little slower. Oh, I got all this time. I could work out an hour a day. I can meal prep on these days and I can do. So they set themselves all these unrealistic goals when they're feeling good, when they have more time, not taking in consideration that they have a busy schedule 90% of the year. They could get sick. They could get injured, that they set the bar so high that I'm going to work out an hour a day. That again, it's that internal pressure, but also unrealistic goals, things that are way too much when considering life, right? And I love how Sarah talks about doing one thing. And something I would point to before I have Jenny or Travis chime in is it's really about setting a goal that's what I call stupid small. So stupid small that you can do it every single day. Something I was saying with Sarah is, creating a goal or something you can do every single day that you can show up and get evidence and proof and build your internal confidence. That data, that proof, that evidence that I showed up today. I worked out 10 minutes. I have like a walking treadmill over here that I do 10 minutes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day. Just 10-minute little increments, right? So, and if you think about it, like I'll do it 4 times a day, that's 40 minutes. That's really good, right? My goal is to do 1 a day. It doesn't mean that I do 1 a day, although there are days that I do, which was yesterday. I wasn't feeling great yesterday. So I did it once. 1 time yesterday, I showed up. I gave myself proof and evidence that I showed up. I can sit here and confidently tell you guys, I showed up yesterday. I completed that. Now, if I complete that 1, it doesn't mean that I do it just once a day. I could do it 10 times a day or 100 times a day. But if I do this consecutively, I show up and it's sustainable for 30 or 60 or 90 days, I might raise that bar, right? Maybe it's 2 times a day. So it's really about creating a goal that's achievable, that's attainable, that's stupid simple, stupid easy, that you can do it even on a day you don't feel good, or a day that everything falls apart and people pull on you and demand on you and your work calls you in, or you have to work extra hours or whatever. You can still show up. You can still do it. So it's creating goals and habits that you could do 30, 60, 90 days and increase it and move the bar up, make it less stupid easy, if you will. So I love that, what Sarah said. Do Jenny or Travis, do you have any input on why New Year's resolutions fail?
Yeah, because I am one of those people that every year would be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I'd have this list like this. and would never end up getting any of it done. And then I'd start kicking myself and starting with the I'm not good enough. That's why it didn't happen. Not because I overwhelmed myself, but because I'm not good enough. Because, you know, that's my underlying under everything. I can trace it back to I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, my diabetes has not been going well as far as my levels being good. And I know in my brain that I need to move more. I need to exercise as well as eating good. And what I've started doing is I didn't set myself a goal per se, but I said, this year, I'm going to move more.
Mm.
So, like earlier this morning, I was making my bed because I got a new quilt and I love it. And I was making my bed. Well, I'm such a perfectionist. I want it all smooth and everything. So I'm probably walking around my bed 20 times trying to get everything straight, which that 20 minutes of walking around my room is more than I'd have been doing before.
Mm-hmm.
I've also got myself an old school pair of headphones and I play music in them. So if I'm in the kitchen fixing lunch or whatever, I'm dancing while
Yep.
I'm doing it. Because if I hear music, I must dance. Even if I'm sitting here, my feet may not be dancing, but my arms and my shoulders and everything will be dancing.
That's
So that's
awesome.
kind of how I've started looking at it. Plus, for me, I've gone into the okay, what is the benefit to me for doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And go down in levels. Yes, it will make me healthier. Yes, it will make me feel good. But down further, if I exercise and get my food eating, or when I get my food eating right and my exercise, I may not have to wear this pump anymore. Which means when I go on cruises, I can swim in the pool or swim in the Caribbean or swim in wherever without having to fool with it. And that's a big motivator, not to have to deal with this anymore. Not only the expense, but just, I mean, I have to take it off before I go take a shower. You know, it's, in some ways, it feels like a burden
Mm-hmm.
or it's just another extra step. So getting away from that would be great. Now, it's not going to make my life any happier, but it'll make it more convenient.
I love what you've shared with us. I feel like I love that you don't have this huge list this year, right? You don't have this giant list of all these things and demands on yourself. So you've moved to something, just move more, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can it be? And I love that it's incorporated music, which music activates sensory regulation, right? Sound, music, movement, vibrations, get your body moving. And it is proven that people, like the skinniest people I've ever met are the people that their legs are constantly moving and they're constantly moving, you know, they're just fidgety people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it proves that movement, and even if you feel sick, like when you're really sick and you don't eat very much in a day, like you're just so lethargic and it just takes so much to move. Well, same thing, like you just don't have a lot of energy on board because your body has to move from the food in your stomach and your digestive tract to stored energy, which is body fat, right? So it does feel, it's lethargic feeling. A lot of it's breaking down stored fat, and there's chemicals and all kinds of crap in there too, so it'll make you feel yucky. But the thing is, I love that you're wanting to move more. You're wanting to incorporate it into things that you love, and how you described quilting, love it. So that's really good. Again, language. So how do we get more of that? How do we get more movement where it's fun, enjoyable, you love it, that it's enabling you to manage your blood sugars in a way that feels fun and enjoyable and good, right? That's other words that you used. So how do we get more of that?
Well, it seems like the more I move, the more I have energy
Mhm.
to move.
Yep.
So going out and going like to the mall with friends, you know, I get to enjoy time with somebody that I like, and I'm getting exercise,
Yep.
you know, and that's something I'm trying to do more because
How about we drop the word try?
yeah, that's something I've been doing more because I got in the fall and the beginning of the winter, I became very internal, not unhappy, but just not wanting to be around other people.
Isolate.
Yeah, it's just, I want to stay in my house. I want to hang out with my cat. I don't need to go do that other stuff.
Right.
And I've been having conversations with my 8-year-old me,
Mm-hmm.
talking to her about, you know, I'm sorry you didn't get what you needed when you were growing up, but I'm here. I got you, and just trying to be kind and compassionate to her, because that, in a nutshell, is where a lot of the I'm not good enough came from. Is
So
not
let me point something out.
okay.
I'm hearing it's coming back again, the not good enough. 1,300% agree. Not good enough is what is really the root of all of us, to be completely honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we attach to that belief, I'm not good enough, and we gather more evidence and proof, and we start to look for, where am I in my day, in my life, and where was that in my life? I felt that way at 8, 7, 5, 10, 12, 14, 15. And we start to get more and more proof of it. We're staying in our left side of our brain. We're a dog chasing its tail.
Mm-hmm.
Needing to know why I feel not good enough is not getting you forward. It's not setting your heart on fire. It's not moving you forward with your life. It's not providing more of what you want in your life, right? It's staying, nurturing that 8-year-old not feeling good enough. And it's almost a sympathetic sort of thing versus an empathetic sort of thing. So sympathetic is jumping in and feeling those feelings with your 8-year-old self, which is, again, more thinking in the negative sense. Empathetic is, I'm not 8 years old. Thank God I'm not. I think I'm 48, something like that. I'm 48 years old, and I'm beautiful and amazing and strong and capable. And I want to feel today courageous. I want to feel brave. I want to feel strong. I want to feel good. I want to feel like, I enjoy movement today, whatever it is. You're going to have to find the language. Can't give it to you. It's really learning
Believe has always been my word.
it's really learning about acknowledging your past. It happened, it's done, it's over with, we can't change it. Wallowing in it, talking about it, keeps us attached to it, keeps us thinking about it, right? We have 40 to 80,000 thoughts a day that we can't control, right? We can't control our thoughts. We can, however, command and train our brain to add fuel to the fire of the right brain, creative, music, movement, enjoyment, fun. What do I want to do today? How do I want to manage my blood sugars today in a way that feels good and is fun? I know that movement is a big part of it. So what do I want to do today that's involving friends or not, involving music or not, you know, really creating a long list of things that you can reach for. And how do I get more movement today? How do I get my body in action today? Because I know on a logical level, when I move more and I feel good and I want to move more because I've been moving and my blood's pumping, I'm burning up the whatever is going on in my blood sugars and so forth like that. And I'm managing my blood sugar so I feel better. I have clearer thoughts. So it's really about honing in and really having that list of things of how to get more movement throughout your day, getting more clear versus move more. It's super generic. It's not detailed enough. It's not clear enough. It's for me, it's too vague, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
So what, besides music, being with friends, walking, dancing, what else can we add to the list?
Going for a walk, enjoying the scenery, although it's winter, so the scenery's not as great. Although we are supposed to get snow this week, I'm hoping.
What is something that you can do on a day that the weather is terrible, be it hot or super cold, on a day that you're feeling low, right? Low on energy, low mood, whatever, because that's going to happen, right? It's inevitable. What is something that you can commit to, an amount of time, and something you can commit to and show up on a daily basis and gather proof and evidence that you do things that you say you're going to do, that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you are deserving?
Have a daily dance party before I start my day.
What's your favorite song to dance to?
There's not one. I like too many types of music,
Me too.
too many genres. It's like I was told years ago I let a friend use my iPod, and they're like, you got to be schizophrenic to listen to your list.
Creative people love lots of music. That's my belief.
I even listen to a lot of Latin music. Can't understand a word they're saying, but I love the beat.
Yeah.
I may get one out of every 20 words, but it's how it makes me feel. Although I guess technically it doesn't make me feel because nothing but me can make me feel.
Bingo. Well, since you caught that, right? You caught that language.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to check in with you, knowing that deeper than a logical level. What is the reason I point that out?
Because that's focusing on the outside. I have that conversation with my cats because I'll say, you make me so happy. Well, no, you really don't. But you don't have that power, but.
Well, it's because here's the reality is that the circle of life, right? I have a dog. He's about to turn 11. He's aging quite a lot. And he does add a lot of fulfillment and joy into my day. I look forward to our routine. We have a morning routine and a night routine. I look forward to creating memories. I look forward to playing with him. I look forward to these things. I know that he's going to pass away, and it's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be sad. It's going to be tragic because I want him to live forever. The thing is, you know, when we start to attach our happiness to something that could be taken away from us, could be lost, stolen, die, removed from our life, and I don't care what it is, anything, and we believe that that is our sole happiness, right? It could be in a job, it could be in our house, could burn to the ground, we could lose our job because of cuts, everything else. I have seen people go from feeling on top of the world to being incredibly depressed and suicidal in a matter of seconds, because they believe that their happiness is in something external. So that's the reason. Okay, if we really want to get down to the nuts and bolts. So back to the song. Songs are usually what, 2 to 4 minutes. It really depends on the song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna offer a suggestion, and this is just to really get a little bit more fine tune on a goal. I don't want to call it a New Year's resolution, but a goal that's something that you can show up for on a daily basis, no matter what. On a day you don't feel good, on a day that you're tired, didn't get good sleep, a day that, who knows, life just has its way of throwing its curveballs. Would you commit for 30 days to dance to one song for the entire duration and show up in some way that, or have someone hold you accountable for that 30 days?
Yeah, I could do that.
Who's going to hold you accountable?
Well, I'd say my child, but she's working 2 jobs right now. She's not around that much.
She wouldn't have to do a lot. You would just have to check in with her on a daily basis and say, you're my accountability buddy. I'm telling you today that I showed up today. I danced to a song, whatever. However you want to word it. It could be sort of vague to her, but it's also speaking the language that I'm showing up. I'm doing this. I'm committed to this. It's whatever the language is that comes from you. Again, notice how you speak about it. Notice how you check in with your accountability partner, whoever that is. Notice how you're doing. If you start to get the thoughts, oh, they're probably judging me. Oh, I don't want to bother them. You're trying to manage other people's feelings. You need to stay in your own lane. An accountability person is someone that will give you a thumbs up in a text message, or, you know, virtually cheer you on, someone that you believe that will appreciate it. Yeah, so it's somebody that'll hold you
Even
accountable.
though I don't need that external validation.
It's not external validation, it's accountability. It's learning to show up every day and have language around it that you are showing up. That's what we're doing here. Is I showed up today, I danced. I did what I said I was going to do. I danced today. It's learning, not the same thing every day, but learning in your language how to tell your accountability partner that you got evidence and proof today and you did it. It's building that self-esteem, self-confidence. It's learning language. It's not affirmations. You're not looking for them to validate you. I mean, hopefully they will, but that's not the agenda. If you have an agenda attached to your accountability partner, that's
okay. Sounds good. I can do that.
Okay, so I want you to tell me who it is.
It's gonna be Allison.
Your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome, guys. So we're at an hour. I do have a hard stop. You guys have been amazing. This is fun. Thank you for coming. I know your time is valuable. I hope this was valuable for everybody here. I know, Travis, you're quiet today, which is great. Thank you. You've been a volunteer many times over, so I appreciate you for being here, and hopefully you learned something. Thank you again, guys, for showing up. More of these. I have more scheduled, different themes, different ideas. Be sure to let me know of a topic that interests you. I'm trying to look out into March now and starting to book some new ones. So But thank you guys for being here with me, and I hope you have a really good weekend. I'm hosting tonight a blackjack party, fake money, fake everything, but it's just fun. Neighbors coming to learn how to play blackjack. So
Awesome.
I'm excited. I gotta clean my house now. So that's my next thing to do. So thank you guys. Thank you. I'll see you again soon. Thank you.